Yo, it's the Ultimate Finesse, your girl's favorite wrestler, one half of the Impact World Tag Team Champions, Chris Bay, and you're watching and or listening to Count It Out, and it's just too sweet.
You are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approve. Counted out with Mike is Tyler. Mike and Tyler. I don't know. Fuck, it's been a while since we've had to do a proper introduction.
It's Tyler.
My name is Tyler, and I am joined, as always, by the man whose name
Am I Tyler?
You will never forget the name of. Mike. What's up, Mike Dust?
Man, we're doing all right. I needed this tonight. It's been a hell of a fucking week.
Yeah, me too.
I you know what? I hated not I needed it last week too, but I gotta say thank you so much to Gary and Michael Capetta, because that interview is that's a benchmark for us, I think. Because I don't know. I don't know if today's fans, if the casual fans know Capetta's work really well, but that man's a fucking legend.
He is.
And if you haven't gone back and listened to that interview from last week, please do so, because there's not often times I feel like don't get me wrong, a lot of our interviews, I feel enlightened afterwards. I feel like we learned a lot of cool stuff. It's very rare, though, I feel like you and I sat under the learning tree. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt when we got off the line with Capetta.
It was
like that man is just so full of wrestling knowledge. It's insane.
It was extra cool for me too towards the end of the interview when he started like talking to me, like giving me advice on ring announcing.
Yeah.
Because like Gary Capetta, like next to Howard Finkel, because obviously Finkel, like I'm a WWF guy as a kid and Finkel's the GOAT, obviously, but like Capetta was like my favorite announcer for a long time.
I've given a lot of thought to making a top 7 announcers list, and it's going to be hard to beat Capetta for my number 2 spot, to be perfectly honest. Yeah,
I'm with you on that, man. I agree with that. Do yourself a favor, go back, hit up the YouTube page, subscribe if you could. That would be incredibly helpful. We've got a lot of big plans that we're trying to work on for this year, and any subscribing will help with those plans and help us get to the next step that we want to get to. But yeah, man, this Capetta thing was so cool. I had a great time. Great stories about, he was the guy that when Mick Foley lost his ear, the referee handed him the ear. Like,
what a story, eh? What a story.
Speaking of stories, though, there are a lot of big stories going on in the world of professional wrestling.
We have some shit to talk about this week, man.
I don't want to waste any time. So let's start with WrestleMania build, because I think that the other conversation we're going to get into, I don't know how it's going to go. So
you're scary. You said some things in our chat today that have me a little scared. Okay, we'll get there, but yeah, let's talk about WrestleMania here.
So let's backtrack a little bit here. A couple weeks ago on SmackDown, Cody tells Roman that I will take your title, just not at WrestleMania. The Rock comes out. People are losing their minds. Some are excited. Some are pissed. Then the "We Want Cody" movement starts. It builds up to this incredible press conference that they did.
I thought it was called the Cody Crybaby movement.
The Cody Crybaby movement. We got some touches of Hollywood Rock, heel Hollywood Rock back, which has been phenomenal. Coming out of this press conference, Cody has chosen Roman. The Rock is kind of left in limbo. Seth Rollins is kind of in the mix. Where's your head at as we roll into WrestleMania season, Mike?
I'm loving how this whole thing panned out, because you're going into this press conference thinking, okay, we're setting up for Roman and Rock, and that's what I was ready for. And when I mean ready for it, that's what I wanted. I wanted Roman and Rock. That's I'm not on this Cody movement. I'm not. Nothing against Cody. I just think this is the money match. So if they would have done this almost any other way, they're what looked like backtracking because they saw that a lot of people got pissed off. So they're like, okay, let's put Cody back in. If they would have done it any other way, I would have hated it. But the way they did it was so fucking genius with Cody, like earlier that day or weekend, whatever, Rock's on the what's his name?
McAfee.
The Pat McAfee show. And just like you said, we're getting hints of heel Rock, we're getting hints of Hollywood Rock, but not all the way yet. We're getting he's shooting on Cody on not even Cody's fans. He's shooting on the Cody crybabies, but he's saying that he still loves Cody and he still loves Cody's fans, just not these vocal minority internet douchebags. Great. I mean, Triple H cut the same sort of promo about 10 years ago. We get that. That was a smart move on Rock's part. Then we get to the press conference, and I don't think anybody expected what we saw because Cody comes out and he's showing respect to Rock, but then he's cutting his promo on Roman, and he's saying, if your grandfather could see you, and if his grandfather could see you, he'd be ashamed. And that's when things fucking turn. And when The Rock says, let's get something straight. When you talk about his family, you're talking about my family. Now we have a problem. And then he smacked the taste of Cody's mouth. That changed everything. That changed WrestleMania. That changed the entire build going forward. There's a few things I love about it. There's a few things I'm not too happy about because I can see where we're going. Obviously, I think we're leading to a night one tag team match that I don't like. I don't want to see that. There's ways to do it, but not the way I think they're going to do it. But here's a question for you. This is sort of a side note, but it's involved. You, in the last, let's say, 2 years, have been very critical of AEW for their use of profanity on their program.
Yes.
How do you feel right now about Rock's constant F-bombs being thrown around? Is it the same as AEW? Do you feel a little bit differently?
I actually thought that this added because of the way they did it. And here's why I say that. Number one, you never see that stuff on WWE television. No. Number two, 98% of it was censored.
Yes.
Number three, it didn't feel forced or shock value like Family Guy. It's Family Guy.
That backstage part where Hunter's talking and he's like, man, there's a whole lot of tension. There's a whole lot of stress. And then you hear The Rock from behind going, there's a whole lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
That felt so like if you told me right now that was a shoot that wasn't supposed to happen, I'd believe you. That's how good that was.
I feel like it was kind of a little bit forced with Seth. He's like, you can't just fucking come in here. And I want to talk about Seth's involvement in this right now.
I feel like Seth has been dying to play this role since Survivor Series.
This is going to sound bad, and I don't mean it to, because I think Seth Rollins is one of the best things in the WWE right now. But on that stage, one of these things just ain't like the other.
Yeah.
And I just have a hard time with this persona that Seth has being involved in this storyline.
I could not agree with you more.
Especially like on Raw, and Bully Ray said this too, and I really agreed with it. Yeah, you want to come out and dress funny or whatever, like I get it, but like you're coming out prancing and laughing and smiling, like no, we need like serious Seth Rollins for this. If you're gonna put him in,
we don't need the Monday Night Messiah right now. We need the architect.
Yes, and
this is where, talking to Adam, he had an idea, and I'd be okay with this if they were going to change Seth's conversation. Where do you go with the WrestleMania build? Who does what? Stuff like that.
So I have some fantasy booking actually that I'd like to put on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Elimination Chamber. I would do the tag team match there. Or
not the way it is, but yes.
Or
not at WrestleMania.
You could even make that a 6-man tag if you wanted, and throw an Uso on each side.
Sure.
right?
I like
Whatever.
that.
I don't
Yeah.
care. Either way.
I like that. I like that.
During that tag team match, though, I would have The Rock pin Cody.
Yeah.
And then I would have The Rock say, I beat you. Why do you get the title match? And at night 1 of WrestleMania, I would do The Rock versus Cody with the winner getting Roman.
I've been saying that since this whole build started going. I agree with you. You made a great point, and I kind of wish they were going down this road because of this fact. Off air, you brought something to my attention. If this was the road they were to go, this would be the 4th decade in a row where the WrestleMania build was 3 men for the title. WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 30, and now WrestleMania 40.
Mhm.
You kind of
wouldn't-
have to hit that. You have to.
I wouldn't hate the 3-way or 4-way match. I wouldn't hate it if they went with that. But I just feel like it's more impactful for Cody to beat Roman one-on-one. I think Cody has to beat Roman one-on-one.
Adam had a good idea of, if you had to do something with Rock Night 1, he said, why don't you put, because they've been really teasing this Rock and Triple H feud. Obviously, Triple H can't wrestle.
Seth can.
Thank you. So you put Rock and Seth in the ring. You put Triple H in his corner as a mentor or whatever. He's already been Triple H's protege in the past and stuff. But if you're going to do it, get rid of as Roman would say, get rid of your wife's shoes. Get rid of the outfits. The Monday Night Messiah, whatever character you're doing right now, has to go. You have to be the architect. You have to be that sick manipulative prick that you were in 2000. What was it, 12? You got to go back to that.
The thing I worry about with Rock and Seth is that I don't think that Seth will gain anything from it. I think The Rock will eat him alive in the build to Mania because Seth just gives The Rock too much to work with. Yeah. And Seth is great on the mic, but he's not on that level. And not many people are, so that's not a knock on Seth. But I think that The Rock would eat him alive.
Depends
if they go
depends how much room he has on his tape to write his promos. I don't know. We'll see.
Fair. Now, that being said, if they do go with a tag team match at night 1 of Mania, it's not the worst thing on the planet. It protects Seth. His knees bummed out, right?
I'm not a fan of it.
His knees hurt. You got to think that we could see a Money in the Bank cash in looming somewhere. Like, there's a lot you could do with that, right? You could have that tag match going on and have a Money in the Bank cash in during that tag match. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can go with it. WWE is they're
Can I give you a little bit of fantasy booking here?
Yeah.
And when I say fantasy, I mean fantasy because it can't happen unless somehow Triple H is able to broker a deal with Tony Khan himself. It's not happening.
Oh God, he's not coming.
I know he's not coming, but this is why I call it fantasy booking. This is how I would like to see it go out. Tell me how cool this would be, okay? You have you have Cody and I don't know. You have Rock and Roman saying that they're going to take on Cody and a partner, whatever. Fine. Somehow they introduce it's Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes comes out. This is for Elimination Chamber, by the way, because I don't want this at Mania. They set up this tag match between the two. Then at Elimination Chamber, it's noted by The Rock and Roman. It doesn't matter if you bring your brother or not, because you'll always be outnumbered. We're the Samoan dynasty. Look who's behind us. Look how many people we have. Solo. We have Jimmy. We have the wise man, and we have hundreds of legends behind us. This is my family. You can't beat the Samoan dynasty. You can't beat the bloodline. You don't have anybody. You have your brother. Big deal. You have no family left. And after that, Tugboat comes out. Oh, I'm his family. God. Why not? Right?
And DDP. And
DDP
and Glacier.
I forgot about Glacier. All these guys who were Magnum TA comes out and he's wearing the fucking fur coat. And he says, Dusty looks like a brother to me. I'm family.
Nobody get that.
I'm just telling you. This is
Listen.
This is why I call it fantasy. I'm not done yet. I'm
the
not done
second
yet.
that
I'm not
fucking
done yet.
tugboat comes out, everyone's like, hold on.
I'm not
Fucking
done yet.
tugboat, man. What's
I'm
his
not
name,
done yet.
Mike? What's his name?
Fuck you. Fuck you and Danny. Dick. You know, it goes on like that until finally both Triple H and Seth Rollins come out. And with them, every one of Desi's NXT kids all just fucking coming out and filling up the stage. Just making this really cool fucking moment. And Dustin and fucking Cody said, yeah, we don't have family. Fuck you. And then they go. I think that'd be such an awesome fucking moment.
I absolutely hate everything about that.
I hate you.
I hate it. I'm sorry. Got
I hate
fucking
you.
tugboat. It's like, what is this? Like your Avengers Infinity War moment? Like,
It's fucking, this is touching. It's fucking family. Tugboat's family.
go get him, Jinder Mahal.
Nah, fuck you. This is gold.
Get
Gold,
him.
I tell you.
Get
Gold,
him,
Jerry.
Adam.
Gold.
Get him, Adam Rose.
All right, let's move fucking on.
What do you want to talk about?
Feel
You want
good.
to talk about little TNA?
I want to get to the TNA stuff, but before we do that, because it's going to take a bit, I want to quickly tell you I watched a match a couple days ago. I got a front runner for my match of the year. I know it's February. Okay, so
I've heard there's been a couple front runners for match of the year already this year,
and I hope you get a chance to watch it. Just clear an hour of your day. It's a long match.
Was this the cage match from New Japan?
I watched the cage match from New Japan. And
I've heard very mixed reviews about this match.
Well,
I've heard it's either the greatest match on the planet or shit. Like depending on
but who the people calling it shit are those guys who listen to fucking Jim Cornette's podcast too much and they're like, oh, mud show outlaw, blah blah blah. No, this is a fucking great match. It was a great send off for Will. It was a great showing for the United Empire. I loved everything about it. Just loved it. But it brings me to a question. Almost 11 years in, 7 different incarnations at this point, like literally right now. Do you think it's time to maybe cut the cord on fucking Bullet Club?
Yeah, I think it was time to cut the cord on Bullet Club like 3 years ago, man. We talked about this on the show.
Like this is literally like I'm watching this fucking Bullet Club. I can't even remember the name of them. Fucking
with
Paw
Billy
Patrol.
Gunn, and
is Billy Gunn in the Bullet Club now too?
Well, it's like the Bullet Club and the Matt and the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. I can't remember their stupid long name.
This one on the New Japan show, it's led by the fucking David Finlay.
Yeah.
Not David. Is it David Finlay?
Yeah, David Finlay. Yeah, he took over. He took over when Jay White left.
Oh, okay. And whoops. Whoa, are you there?
Ah,
what happened?
I don't know. I'm here. That's why you shouldn't push buttons. I don't have time to edit tonight, Mike. So you better get your shit together.
I know. I just can't find you.
Well, I'm here.
I can't see you.
What did you do? You know what?
Hold on. There you are. Found it. There were crumbs on my fucking keyboard, so I wiped them off, and something happened.
Well, you're getting counted out raw and uncut tonight, folks, because there is no time to edit that
out. Yeah, this fucking whatever Finley's like this. They got this like army motif going on. It's like fucking Bullet Club Paw Patrol or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the gold and black or something, and then you have there's too much going on. I think it's time. I love the Bullet Club, but I think it's time to put this dog down.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. With no Gallows, Anderson, Kenny, Bucks, that's the Bullet Club. You know what I mean? That's the elite. That's whatever. Speaking of that, did you hear about all this talk about the Darby Allin promo on AEW this week?
I heard that maybe he went into business for himself. Somebody said, but I haven't
got a chance to find the clip yet. But apparently, he basically put over Cody on the show. He was like, he's like, you hire all your friends, and the only good EVP left, and the whole arena started chanting Cody. Why are we putting over the other show.
Why does AEW do anything? You want to know something fun? Okay, here's a question. Before we get to TNA, I have some numbers for you, and I want you to see in your mind what can be done with this. Some numbers came out, and this is real. This isn't just made up bullshit from like the dirt sheets or something. These are real numbers. Okay. The ratings of Dynamite are down 31% compared to 2021, which is probably one of their better years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ticket sales of AEW Dynamite are averaging 2.3 K in 2024. It was about 5.5 in 2021. Pay-per-view sales are down 15%. Warner Brothers is not looking to renew his contract with AEW. AEW is not looking good after 5 years. What can be done to salvage AEW right now? It's obviously not even close to time to put a bullet in it. But
No.
what can be done to save this company before it gets too low?
Step 1, smaller venues.
Yes, agreed.
Step 2, get rid of half of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need 3 AEW shows. No, we don't.
Step 3,
cut your roster.
Step 3, buy big little brawlers because you can't compete with the midgets.
They're literally getting outdrawn by that show.
I know. I love
it. Step 4, cut your roster.
Yeah.
Step 5, put Ring of Honor to sleep. It's not working.
Agreed.
It's not working.
Agreed. Well, what's their main storyline right now? It's like fucking Johnny Nitro and Darby Allin, and it's a dud.
It's Dalton Castle, I think.
Oh, sorry, did I say Darby Allin? I meant Dalton Castle. It's a dud.
It's not worth. It's just on YouTube. Like, what's the point to have this company running just on YouTube? It's not. Yeah, but it's just like there's no consistency. It's just flat right now. Everything about it's flat.
Can I be honest with you? I hate like I know this is not what I said at the end of last year because I didn't. This is not my mindset at the end of last year, but the way things are going now in the last, let's say, 6-7 weeks, I don't like where they're going with Edge. I think
it's boring.
I think Edge is doing some of the worst stuff of his career at the moment.
The thing, like,
he came in on fire. He was doing some great stuff at first, but now he's fizzled completely out.
The thing that I've noticed with Adam Copeland, I will try to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this with a lot of people that leave the WWE. He doesn't feel cool anymore. He feels like kind of a dorky dad.
Yeah.
Like he's doing like I watch him, like I watch a couple of clips of his match with Garcia, and like he started doing the Garcia dance, so that's great. But then he started doing like this like Norman Smiley like ass slap thing at the end, and I'm like, dude, like that's like you look dorky doing that. Like, he's having fun, and I love to see that. But
and that's fantastic.
I find there might be a little bit, and I know this is crazy because for years we're like, the talent needs more freedom. Sometimes they don't need that much freedom. Let's like, but
agreed.
I just feel like there's nobody in charge of AEW. Like the guys can just kind of go out and do whatever they want on there.
Tony's too busy with his Twitter account.
Like, oh, it's terrible. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not happy with what AEW is doing. TNA, I think, is the far superior promotion to them. I think they're the number 2 promotion.
I couldn't agree with you more, but let's talk about TNA because I want to get to the list. I'm scared to have this conversation with you because up until about 12 hours ago, I thought you and I were on the same page.
We are, and we aren't.
Okay. So let's break it down. Anybody who hasn't heard for some reason, it was a little less than a week ago. It was announced Scott D'Amore has been let go by Anthem from TNA. He is no longer the president of TNA. They have replaced him with I'm very sorry, I can't remember the guy's name. Anthony something.
Yeah, Anthony something or
Anthony Cerulli.
Honest to God,
It's something close to that.
when I first read that, I thought Santino Marella was in charge of Impact or
Oh
TNA.
no, that's Anthony Corelli. Anthony Cerulli is our former
Yeah, he's our
correspondent.
no, but I thought it was Santino. Like I
Oh,
was
okay.
like I that's what I was trying to say there is I actually thought Santino Marella was in charge of TNA wrestling for real.
Um, so they brought in somebody from Anthem with absolutely no wrestling experience whatsoever. With the idea that apparently this guy, from what I'm hearing, apparently this guy helped garner the deal between TNA and WWE for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, from what I heard, this guy was like he used to work for the Score, I think.
Yes, yeah, he used to be a VP for the Score. So he's got, sports knowledge, he's got production knowledge, I guess. He knows how to run TV to an extent, but you can run TV. That doesn't necessarily mean you can run a wrestling promotion. I don't know. I at this point in time, listen, all you people saying, well, fuck it. You want to fuck Scotty over like that? I'm out. I'm not watching TNA anymore. I'm not going to be part of that party, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm not willing to help destroy everything Scott worked on for the last 5 years. The people Scott put in their places are still in those places. And until TNA gives me a reason to no longer watch the product, I'm going to continue to watch the product.
Absolutely.
With that said, who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe this guy could come in and do something really cool with this promotion. We don't know. With that said, you have a man in Scott D'Amore who came back to TNA after not being around for a while, came back to Impact Wrestling after not being around for a bit, and he took this failing, dead promotion. That thing was on its last fucking legs after Hulk Hogan, Dixie Carter, Billy Corgan, Eric Bischoff, all these people took so many fucking shits on this company, left it for dead. There's no way this thing should have been resuscitated. Scott D'Amore and Don Callis come in.
Thank you for mentioning that name.
And they revitalized this product into what we see now. Some of the best storytelling, some of the best wrestling, one of the best rosters, definitely the best women's division. And we've said this 1,000 times, just like I counted out, it's the best program you're not watching.
Absolutely.
And why is that? Because Anthem wasn't giving him any money. Anthem owns their own television company, so they're like, oh, just be on our channel. Well, nobody watches your channel. So there's a problem there. But Scott did the best he could. Scott knew what venues to run. He knew how to promote those venues. He knew who to run with. He knew who to hire, who to utilize. Scott did everything right for the last 5-6 years.
Well, not everything.
And for him to be pulled out like this, I think is a fucking disgrace. Apparently he made a very viable, considered offer to buy the company. And then and they decided to not go that way and let him go instead. The last thing I will mention before I hear your piece on this is today it was released that the TNA roster has put out a public letter backing
No,
up.
it wasn't public. It got leaked.
Oh, it got leaked. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they wrote a letter. They wrote a letter to Anthem on behalf of the roster saying, listen, we understand that this is a business. We have nothing but respect for the people that run Anthem. We have nothing but respect for Anthem, but you fucked up. We love Scott and we don't agree with your decision. In my entire life, Dan, I don't ever remember seeing a company with a roster that dedicated to somebody that they would go that far for that. And I think that's a fucking beautiful thing.
All right. So I agree with things that you say, and I disagree with things that you say a little bit. Um, First things first, nothing but love for Scott Demore. He really did an incredible job of making people give a shit about Impact / TNA again.
Mhm.
Wasn't just him. There's a whole
Oh,
fucking
there was a team, and
bunch of people behind
Scott
him.
would never
And
say it was just him. Yeah,
100%, 100%.
yeah,
But let's call a spade here. Scotty was the guy with the vision.
100%.
Unfortunately, his vision of what he wanted for TNA and Anthem's vision for what they wanted with TNA were different, right? He wanted them to spend more money. They didn't want to spend that much more money.
Well,
He
basically, it
wanted
came down
them,
to if we're going to spend this much money, then we want our own guy handling said money.
he wanted them to go to a different network.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that. And they own their own network, so I get it.
Well, then get people to watch it.
Well, I mean, and this day and age where
Learn a lesson. There used to be this company called Sinclair Media. Learn a lesson from their fuck up.
well, they were bleeding money though. I don't think TNA is bleeding money anymore. But in this day and age, they can utilize, if they want to stay on a small network, they can still get their product out there. It's not gonna be, as big as WWE or
No,
whatever.
no.
It's certainly probably neck and neck
And
with AEW right now.
And it probably won't even be as big as it once was. It probably won't be what it was in 2010.
They could probably get pretty close to that, I think.
Yeah.
But that Spike TV deal was a huge deal. They had
Yeah, it was.
the lead in from the Ultimate Fighter or vice versa. Like
Mhm.
that was a different time period, right?
Yeah.
There's so much wrestling on cable TV right now as it is that
Yeah.
even if they got a better deal, I don't know if it's going to be like, it would be better for them, I guess, but it's not going to, I don't think it'd be that big game-changing move that they want it to be either.
Mhm.
Like yeah, their network sucks, but it's their network. So it saves them a lot of money also, right? Like from a business standpoint, I get why they are doing what they're doing. But then he makes a play to try to buy TNA, and they considered it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the word that I hate, but it's the cold hard truth: business.
I'm
For
not disagreeing with that,
Anthem,
but this is a bad business move.
well, not for Anthem, it wasn't.
We don't know that. That's yet to be seen.
Scott,
It's been less than a week. We don't know if it was a bad move or not.
This letter too that the talent wrote, like I admire it, but I don't know, man. It's not really their place to do that either.
You're goddamn right it is. They have
Why?
every right to do that.
Why? They're
What do you mean,
contracted
why?
talent. Like I get it.
They have every right to voice their opinion.
Of course they do. But like talk to people. I don't know. I don't understand this whole letter thing. Like I think it's a beautiful thing and I love seeing the support for Scotty, but at the end of the day, like the big boss has made a decision and there's
let's be honest about that. You said it was leaked. I call bullshit on that. This was always going to be a media. This was always meant for people to see.
Well, if that's the case, I say shame on the talent.
They probably want us to believe it was leaked, but I'm going to call bullshit on that.
If that's the case, I say shame on the talent. Then I think it's a bad look.
Yeah. I personally don't have a problem with it.
If it was intentionally put out there for the public to see, I have a big problem with that. If it got leaked, shit happens. I get it. But like that's an in-house matter that should be addressed in-house. We don't need to know about this.
Yeah.
I get the loyalty to Scotty and he earned every bit of that respect. But at the end of the day, all the talent is signed to contracts that Athena Anthem pays the bill for, and go out there and perform to the best of your ability because that's what Scotty would want.
Now, I agree with that, and I think that's what we will see. If I start seeing people refuse to work or start fucking around because out of a protest or something like that, I'll be on your side. I'll be like, okay, this is bullshit.
I heard Moose is not happy.
I heard that too, and he has every right not to be happy. But at the end of the day, you have two options. Go out and do I'm going to take your words right out of your mouth. Go out and do your job to the best of your ability, or go put in your resignation. I have issues at my own work right now. Okay. Every day I go to work and I tell myself I have two options. This could either be another work day where I go in and I do my best, or this is the day I quit. There's no in between. There's no half-assing it. There's no bullshit. There's no, well, I'm just going to go in, fucking phone it in. I'm not wired like that. I know you're not wired. I give you a hard time about not being a hard worker and all, but I just bust your balls. I know you're not wired about like that. It's either you go in and you do your fucking job or you resign. So if I was to find out tomorrow that Moose decided, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm out, respect. Because you stood up for what you believe in and you did something about it. But if he goes in and refuses to work or, you know, anything like that, well, that's horseshit. You know, kind of like what Brock Lesnar did the first time that Vince retired.
Yeah.
You know, that there's no room for that bullshit.
I don't know, like at the end of the day, Scotty and Athena or Anthem, sorry, they weren't on
You're
the same.
obsessed with Athena today.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't know. But at the end of the day, they weren't on the same page, and they made a business decision. And let's, you know, it is what it is, unfortunately.
As an Impact fan, as a TNA fan, as a person who has gone very public on this show in the last 4 years to say that it is my favorite promotion. It is the promotion I watch the most. It's the only promotion I watch on a regular basis. I am trepidatious and a tad scared of the future for Impact because Scotty was a big part of the reason I loved the program.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt that when you and I went to Sacrifice, that Scotty's presence was felt.
Well, also Windsor was like, that's his.
Yeah. But like Scotty's not just, you know, the president of the company. Scotty was in the trenches. Scotty's on the floor. Scotty's the man.
Here's a different take on this though. And, you know, for everything that Scotty was, and I'm just speculating here, so please don't take my words seriously, but for everything that Scotty was for the talent and the public for TNA, we don't know what he was like to deal with on the corporate side.
No, we don't. He could have been a pain in the ass in Anthem's ass for years,
and clearly that might be the case, and they might have just said, "Well, you know, we're done here."
We don't know,
but
and I don't think we will know.
The future is bright for Scotty. I don't think
I really hope so. There's so much we could see from Scotty, so much potential. Let's just mark down a couple of things that we could possibly see. All right, number one, it's a long shot. But let's be honest. Chris Park, Petey Williams, and Jeremy Borash are all in the office at WWE.
It's not a long shot at all, I don't think. I think they would be loving to have Scott tomorrow.
Those guys getting into the ear of Triple H and saying, "Hey, you need Scotty in here." Scotty working in NXT with Shawn Michaels would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Even Scotty working even on the Raw brand or the SmackDown brand, he would be an asset. Put him on the creative team, put him anywhere because Scotty's a man of so many different coats. My buddy Matt made a point, and this kind of counters your point. This kind of goes against what you said earlier about pulling the plug on ROH, but maybe he could revive it. They said put him in charge of ROH. I wouldn't be against that because if anybody can be Viagra for a dying promotion, Scotty's got that the proof is in the pudding right there, right?
You think he'd have that in him again to want to do that?
I don't know.
I'd be so defeated. I'd be like, oh, right? Fuck, just put me on something established.
I agree with that. Then there's Border City Wrestling. There's this promotion that he's had for years, and it was gone for a while, and it's slowly coming back. He's been doing some shows in the last year or two. Maybe he just says, you know what? I'm going to go and run a company, and maybe we have, you know, some success. Maybe they go from that being that little indie to something a little bit bigger. They won't be big, but maybe they could be GCW big. You know what I mean? So he could do something with Border City.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's a lot Scotty could do. I don't think Scotty's done with professional wrestling.
No.
I think it would be wrestling's loss if Scotty decided to leave the wrestling business right now.
No, we'll see. Scotty's not done yet. And who knows? Maybe Scotty does find his way back into TNA too. The door might not be shut there.
You never know. You never
Speaking
know. There
of-
could be a room. There could be room for him at least at the creative table.
Speaking of TNA wrestling, be sure to catch TNA wrestling superstar, the Wild Child Jody Threat at Barry Wrestling on March the 2nd for their 100th show.
Yeah, baby.
Just saying.
All right. Speaking of TNA, our the honoree of our list did some time in TNA. It was horrible.
Man, what was his name in TNA?
Was it Black Rain?
Black Rain. Meow, meow, meow.
We are doing.
Okay, wait. I know I tell you to watch this show all the time and you haven't got into it yet.
Here we go.
OSW reviews. They did a whole story arc on Black Rain.
That's phenomenal.
It's actually incredible. And they just sing a song all the time.
I did watch a couple of their shows. They really love old TNA.
Oh, they are huge TNA guys. Yeah. Right now they're doing they're in the middle of doing the main event Mafia story arc.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like, it's absolutely hilarious.
Inspired by my apparently horrible fantasy booking from earlier, this is where I decided to come up with my list today.
Can I correct you for a second?
Yeah.
You used the word apparently there. I'd just like you to take that word out and let's just stick with horrible if we could. That would be great.
The idea of Dustin Rhodes being involved in this storyline is what inspired my my list today. Dustin, I think, is one of the most, we use this word probably too much on this show, but he is one of the most underrated talents in the history of WWE. He's one of my favorite Intercontinental champions. I think we dropped the ball by not heavily mentioning him on your tag team list, on your best tag team wrestlers list.
I might have to disagree a little bit with you on the underrated part, though.
He's one of the, when I say underrated, I don't mean, I mean underrated in the way that William Regal is underrated. William Regal is well respected. Nobody has a fucking bad word to say about his work. But when you talk about people, the name gets forgotten. And I think that's the same as with Goldust.
I think he's like perfect where, like, I don't know. I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think that, like,
I think he's one of the best. Now, everybody knows how big of a fan I am of the New Generation era. Goldust was one of the things that made that generation work. Goldust was one of the best things going in 1996 and 1997.
Absolutely.
By far. And he was fucking over. When he started getting into the WrestleMania 13 build, when he turned face and he started working with Hunter, man, over like fucking rover.
Yeah, he got himself over a couple times.
Move him into the situation with the Hart Foundation, and they love that guy. And then, move on, later in his career, the stuff he did with Booker, people love that.
When he had Tourette's, that was not Tourette's.
Well, might as well have been Tourette's, yeah.
Yeah.
And then move on, the stuff he did with his brother Cody, both the stuff he did with Cody and the stuff he did with Stardust. The guy knows how to get over. His personal demons, I think, is what kept him behind. Because in the beginning of his career was basically, for the first 2 years of being in WWE, his career was mirroring that of Triple H.
Yeah.
But, Triple H
had his eye on
the prize, and Dustin had his eye on a bag of something.
Well, and don't forget too all the incredible work he did before he even got to the WWE.
Well, we'll be getting there, bud. We'll be getting there.
He was just a natural,
the natural. So my list today is the top 7 matches.
Yeah, break this down.
The top 7 matches of Dustin Rhodes, and I do mean Dustin Rhodes. We're going Dustin's full career, not just Goldust. We're doing the natural. We're doing 7.
Oh God.
We're doing Black Rain. We are doing what I consider to be his best matches. Obviously, the number one piece of criteria is in-ring work, which I don't even think you can agree with me here. Dustin's going to have no problem with.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Dustin's a hell of a hand.
He's also teaming up as you listen to this tonight and on AEW with Ross and Marshall Von Erich, which I think is a cool little
Oh,
team.
I like that. Cool. Second is entertainment value, because I think he's one of the most entertaining storytellers in probably at least the 90s. You know what I mean? Especially his initial Goldust run, like 96 to 99, 96 to 98. Maybe not the artist formerly known as shit, but
that was a different kind of entertainment, I guess.
Yeah,
bro.
But that initial run with the ambiguous character when he was the mind fucked character, the stuff he did with Undertaker was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff he did with Roddy Piper, the stuff he did with Razor Ramon, Ahmed Johnson, that early heel stuff was fantastic. Then you go to his stuff with Mankind and Vader to an extent. Then you go into that into his face run, and he just does some great stuff with Hunter, with Jerry the King Lawler, and then moving forward, he has a short but decent run with the Intercontinental title.
Pillman, his stuff with Pillman was really good.
Stuff with Pillman was fantastic. So those are my number two. It's in ring, and it's entertainment. The match has to, even if it's not the best, in-ring stuff you've ever seen, which I think only one match on my list even qualifies as that, to be perfectly honest. As long as it gets you off your feet. And there's one more piece of criteria. If it did something for his career, because I'm gonna use that as justification for one of my matches. If it was entertaining and good enough that it pushed his career up a bit, that's got to be talked about.
Okay, I gotta ask then for one spoiler.
Okay,
what number is the blacktop bully in the back of the 18-wheeler truck?
Let me see.
I mean, if you're talking,
I don't have a dictionary. I don't think you know what the word entertainment means.
Well, now, but if you're talking about importance for his career, that's your number one.
Because if he doesn't get fired from WCW,
he's never Goldust.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
All right, well, I'm intrigued. To see where this list goes. I've got a handful of matches.
You might hate my list. I don't know. You might hate my list.
Most of the times I do, but
yeah.
No, your list has been pretty good the last little while.
My
Let's see if you remember how to do one, by the way. It's been a while.
You know how you and I always say that number 7 is the hardest spot?
Yeah. I have a number 7 in my head too. So
this is the hardest number 7 I've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever. 1 through 6 were easy. I had 8 contenders for my number 7 spot. And what I chose basically because of what it did for his career in my mind, and the fact that it's probably my favorite match he ever did, even though it's definitely not his best match. It's just one of my favorites. So I had to pick that because I couldn't pick out of the other 7. I couldn't pick. So I picked this. Maybe you're going to say I phoned it in for my number 7 because I couldn't just pick out of the group. But my number 7 is WrestleMania 12, and it's Roddy Piper versus Goldust in the backlot brawl.
I thought this was going to be like in your number 5 or 4 spot, to be honest.
When we get down there, I think you'll understand why. I just think there's so many great matches in his career. This match is, because this is not a good match. This is not a great match. This is an important match, though.
I don't know. I think this match gets slept on a little bit because of the car chase shenanigans on it. But that
definitely takes it down a few grades.
That actual backlot brawl part, though, is violent, man.
And this is long before. Violent. I want people to remember this is March of 1996. There's no blood in WWE. There's no sex in WWE. There's no such thing as cinematic matches. That term won't come around for another 20 years. However, I count this as one of the first, if not the first, cinematic match.
Yeah.
because they filmed this thing in a couple days around California. And then at the end of the match, so you have that, the groundbreaking cinematic aspect of it. You have the fact that you brought up that it's so violent.
It is
so
very
ridiculous, way more violent than 1996 would allow usually. And then at the end, they rip Goldust's clothes off, and there's this man standing there in women's lingerie.
Puppies.
And you don't see that in 1996
Nope.
at all.
I mean, I don't see that now.
You know, maybe I'm biased, but Roddy Piper is my favorite wrestler. So maybe I'm just like, it's Roddy, I got to put him in. But Roddy helped elevate Goldust to the next level.
And this was supposed to be Razor too.
It was 100% supposed to be Razor. Then Razor, did he leave yet, or
No,
he was suspended or something?
He magically got suspended.
Yeah,
because he
was on his way out, right? Yeah,
he put his notice in, so they fucked him on his Mania payday.
Yeah, which is weird because didn't Kevin also put his notice in?
I think Kevin put his notice in shortly after.
Shortly after Mania, or after Scott?
Shortly after Scott.
Oh, okay.
I think Kevin was already, but Scott, I think, legitimately failed the piss test.
Yeah, okay.
But
so I honestly thought you might have a problem knowing how many matches that I can't put on my list.
This would be on my list.
You'd have a problem. Yeah, that's
awesome. I would have more of a problem if it was not on your list. This is one of his most memorable matches of his career.
I looked at 5 other lists. This did not make anybody else's list.
Well, that's why they're not the best list show in the fucking history of podcasts.
My number 6 might be a deep cut. I don't even know if you would put it on your list because I don't know if you remember it happened. But it happened in our backyard, right here in Toronto.
I actually thought this was going to be your number 7.
Okay, September 9th, 2013. This is Goldust's return to the company after, I want to say, 3 years.
I don't know how long, but yeah.
I want to say 3 years. He comes back. They did this angle where Cody got fired. And Goldust comes back and says, hey, if I can beat Randy Orton, then you got to give Cody his job back. And they went and had a fucking match, man.
Yes, they did. This was a great match.
And I want to say that if the rumors are true, Goldust this was supposed to be a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
And his match with Randy was so good that they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And they kept him around for
I feel like that's happened like 20 times with him in the WWE.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. He even made mention of that in a promo before this match with Renee Paquette.
Yeah, this is a great match.
It's a great story. It's Randy's getting ready to go. I can't remember what the pay-per-view was, but he's getting ready to go defend his title against Daniel Bryan. And he's got this one road bump in front of him. That's Goldust. And I think the story they're telling, it doesn't look like Randy's taking him seriously enough at first. But then within 2-3 minutes of that match, you get the old Goldust. You get all those great moves that he used to do. One of my favorite things is when he does a back bump and smacks you.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so smooth.
His strikes are like anybody else. And him and Randy in the ring. Randy, you and I have discussed a billion times, is one of the best in-ring workers of the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
So to put him and Randy in the ring together, it was magic. It was gold. It really was.
This match being in Toronto also, I think, really elevated it because the crowd was, I think, extra amped up for Goldust because he's always been really over in this market.
100%.
And the fact that it was his return in Toronto, I think, elevates this match to the next level as well. But yeah, this is a phenomenal match.
My number 5, we're staying in the same year, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be Cody and Goldust teamed up quite a bit in 2013, leading them to a couple tag titles. And this is, I believe, shortly after they won their first title together. And it's at Hell in the Cell. And we're doing the triple threat match. It's Cody and Goldust versus the Usos versus the Shield, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
I've actually never seen this match. And I've heard it's phenomenal.
That really surprises me. There was a few matches that could have took this place, okay? There's a one-on-one match, or not one-on-one match. There's a straight tag match between them and the Shield that could have made this list. There's a straight tag match, but it's Cody and Stardust versus the Usos where they beat Usos for the title. I think that was Elimination Chamber.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Mm,
This is where wrestling gets fuzzy for me
yeah,
on the years.
I know. So both those matches really could have been on this list, but this match had everything. It was still, face paint Usos. It was still Shield.
Yeah.
And Cody and Dust are it's kind of weird that the tag team champs, that they're almost the underdogs in this match.
100% they would be.
You know what I mean? And they go in and they pull it off. Cody gets a clean victory over Seth Rollins. It's fantastic. It's everything you want to see. And it's one of the things where I'm telling you, man, you watch Goldust in tag teams and he's so good. He's so intelligent. He's so like I'm really upset with us for not even considering him for that list.
I have a good deep cut honorable mention after this, so that just triggered it. Yeah.
So I guess there's not a whole lot that you can contribute to this because you haven't seen this match, which is very surprising. But I highly suggest you go. It's only like a 14-minute match, man. So I highly suggest you go and check it out. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I was researching some matches and I looked at a lot of lists and I saw this match on it. It was on I wanted to watch it this week, but I had no time this week, so I did not watch it.
Well, this match, my number 5 is Goldust retaining the tag team championships, where my number 4 is him winning the tag team championships. We're going all the way back to 1991, and it is the natural Dustin Rhodes and his mystery partner,
Steamboat,
Ricky that Dragon Steamboat, versus the Enforcers, Larry Sabisco and Arn Anderson.
Okay.
I believe this was Clash of the Champions.
I believe so.
Yeah. I rewatched this match about a week ago, and I absolutely fucking adore this match. I have a question for you because this is your era. This is where this is where things aren't fuzzy for you. You remember things that I cannot remember. So I have a question for you. Why was Barry written out of this? I know he had a kayfabe injury, like Arn Sabisco smashed his hand in the car door, and then he apparently had constructive surgery on his arm. But why was Barry written out of this, and why was Ricky in this match? Do you remember?
I don't. I would assume it was a shoot injury. It would be my guess, but I couldn't tell you.
Right. Maybe it wasn't, and maybe they injured his arm. The only reason I always thought it was only reason I thought it was kayfabe is because after they broke his arm in kayfabe, he had 2 more matches.
Okay.
So I always assumed it was just a kayfabe thing, that they wouldn't make him keep working.
I don't remember the time
91
period. So. Barry turned heel on Dustin at some point. But I think that would have been later. I think that would have been the end of 92.
Yeah.
Because they were on the same team in War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he turned him at the end of 92. So no, I couldn't tell you. But what a way to bring Steamboat back to the company.
Right.
And it was very...
so I love this because Barry says, I want to introduce my replacement, and this mysterious figure comes out wearing this giant fucking dragon mask.
Well, it's a throwback to 89, right? That's how
I never even thought of that. Yeah.
When Eddie Gilbert brought Steamboat back and they took on Flair.
And I love it. I think it was, I want to say it might have been Jim Ross, possibly Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, it was Jim Ross for sure.
On one of those two on commentary says, it could be a Japanese guy under that mask, and so they're really trying to throw you off, right? But then you get there, he pulls the mask off. They didn't pull a Kerry Von Erich, which is great. But what are your memories of this match? Does this match in your mind? Does this match deserve my number 4 spot?
I have not watched this match in probably 20-something years.
Do yourself a favor and go watch it, man. It is
I couldn't tell you. Remember the angle.
Remember what I just said about Dustin and Orton? Now put Dustin and Arn. And this is Arn. This is 1991 Arn Anderson.
Dustin and Arn always had great chemistry together. Always.
When Ricky Steamboat is the 3rd best wrestler in a match, you got something going, you know?
The Enforcers were a great tag team. Also.
They were. All right. Here's a question for you, and I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyways. Enforcers or Brainbusters?
Oh fuck, Brainbusters.
Yeah.
Like anyone who says the Enforcers can just turn this show off right now and unsubscribe. I will take the unsubscribe on the YouTube page.
I love me some Larry Z. I do.
I do too, but come on, Tully, third best horseman.
You're fired. Yeah, do yourself a favor, go watch this match again. It's really, really fun. It's when I say fun, Dustin's having fun, Ricky's having fun.
You know, on a sidebar,
You know what I mean?
too, we're talking about the tag team wrestlers, and you asked me the Brainbusters or the Enforcers. You know who Arn's best tag team partner was, right? Paul Roma.
Fucking hate you.
Right? Thank you,
This is why
Sean
we-
Gibson. I will never not use that.
This is why we can't be friends.
Why? He's Paul Roma replaced Tully in the Horsemen, so that means he's got to be better than Tully, right?
I hate you so much.
Okay, I can't say that with a straight face. I tried. I tried really hard. I will go back and rewatch this one. Actually, I love this time period of WCW. I think it was it's probably in my top 5 favorite time periods in wrestling.
Well, I know for a fact you watched my number 3.
Okay.
You've watched this probably more than once.
Okay.
And this is my favorite time period in wrestling. We're going to 1997, my baby.
Canadian Stampede.
Canadian Stampede.
All right, I was really worried that you're going to make this your number 1.
No, I think number 3 is no, especially when I tell you what 2 and 1 are.
I know.
I think number 3 is.
I have to know what your 2 and 1 are, but
I think number 3 is the perfect spot for this.
I will tell you, I have a slight problem with this as your number 3.
If you say that Dustin doesn't pull his weight in this match, I'm going to slap you.
It's not that he doesn't pull his weight in this match.
I think everybody looked great in this match.
Absolutely.
Every competitor looked great in this match.
Absolutely.
And that's so hard in a match like this.
But
this match is so well booked.
My problem with it is when you go back and talk about this match and think about this match.
You're right.
Goldust is the last person that comes to mind in this match. And like
I would go Shamrock, but yeah.
Okay. Well, flip a coin, right?
I get what you're saying.
But I mean, like, I can't remember. I know Goldust was awesome in this match because he's always awesome. But if you're talking about like, this would be on my list, I think it would just be higher. Just because it's not like, I don't immediately be like, this is a Goldust match.
But this is the 3rd best match on this list.
Yeah, from a match,
you know what I mean?
Like I get it from a match standpoint, but it doesn't like Goldust doesn't get the shine in this match. You know what I mean?
Originally, I had a feeling that might be argument. I thought you'd be like, yeah, it's a great match, but it's not a great Goldust match. And I disagree because everybody, even Ken Shamrock, even Jim Neidhart, even everybody, they shined in this match.
They give everybody like their moments, but like Goldust,
it's very rare that a multi-man match like this, everybody gets their shit in.
Yeah, I get it.
You know,
I get it. I think I would, just because like.
So what? This is like your number 5 or number 6 or?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
But the match is better than all those matches.
Yes, they are.
We're honoring Dustin and Goldust today, and he should be very proud of this match and his performance in it. But it's not like, to me, I want him to be more of the focal point, like to be this high on the list. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm not sure how you're going to feel about my number 2.
I think I'm going to love your number 2 if I know what it is.
Well, if you thought we were done talking about Dustin Rhodes and Steve Austin in multi-man matches, you're fucking.
This is exactly
you're wrong.
Exactly where this match should be. By the
way, we're going to 1992.
92,
yeah. It's Sting's Squadron versus the Dangerous Alliance. I believe it was Wrestle War
92.
Yeah.
I would say the second best War Games match in the history of War Games.
A lot of people call it the best.
I agree. I'm just such a sucker for that.
You love the first one. I know you do.
But this is
very highly regarded as the best War Games match ever. If you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, go do yourself a favor, sit under the learning tree of War Games matches and watch this match.
Mhm.
On the face side, you got Sting Squadron, you got the Captain Sting, Ricky Steamboat, Barry
Wyndham.
Wyndham. Thank you. I was having that Tourette's moment. Barry Wyndham, Nikita Koloff, and Dustin Rhodes.
Mhm.
That's a strong face team.
Hell yeah.
Then you got the Dangerous Alliance. That's Paulie and his boys taking on Rick Rude, Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko. Fuck, man.
So do you want to know why I agree with this being your number 2, but not Stampede being your number 3?
So you think that Dustin shined harder in this than he did in 3? And I agree he did, but not by that degree.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who started the match?
Yes, but
who bled like a stuck pig the whole match?
Okay, you know what? If you go back to what you said before,
Dustin shines in this match.
When you're done watching Canadian Stampede, do you think about Goldust? And the answer is no. When you're done watching Wrestle War, do you think of Dustin Rhodes? And the answer is yes,
absolutely. And that's kind of my
and that
point
is why it is, and that is why it is in a better spot than Stampede. I'm going to stick to Stampede being in my number 3 spot.
I respect it. I'm not going to give you a hard time about it.
This match is highly deserving. This match was this close to being my number 1.
Yeah, it just couldn't. It just couldn't be. But I
you're smart enough to know what my number 1 is.
I hope so.
But this match was it was inching towards her because this is the quintessential War Games match. This is. In 1992, this is violent. It's great storytelling. It's the culmination, really, of the story we were talking about from my number 4. Mm-hmm. Steamboat and Dustin versus the Enforcers. Mm-hmm. This is really the blow off to all that, right?
Well, and there's so much good, like, deep storytelling in this too, like Nikita and Sting at odds, and they have their moment. And yeah, former guest of the show, Nikita Koloff, might I add. Yeah, I agree with this. This is exactly where I had it as well. Your number 1, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, and once it is, I have a comment to make about it once I hear officially.
My number 1, I slept on because I didn't watch it for probably a year after it happened. I heard it was great, but probably maybe even 2 years. I heard it was great, but I just didn't care enough about this promotion to watch it. And once I watched it, I'm like, this might be the best thing Dustin's ever done. And of course, we're going to 2019, Double or Nothing, and it's Cody versus Dustin Rhodes.
So basically, what you're saying is you only like Dustin Rhodes matches when he bleeds half to death.
Right.
He
was a good. Let's call a spade here. He's a great bleeder.
100% he is.
He's like if we do a list of great bleeders, he's up there with Rick. He's up there with Dusty. He's up there with, you know what I mean?
100%.
He's up there.
This is a phenomenal match. This is the only choice for number 1 as far as I'm concerned. It is.
I looked at 5 other lists. Nobody didn't have this as their number 1.
Yeah, and this is like, you just take the whole story together. I really enjoyed the build for it as well because they didn't have TV at this time either, right?
No.
So it was built on YouTube. Brandy, I remember, was pissed about it. Cody was like, I have to have this match. And this was Dustin's first match, I think, after being released from WWE.
I think so, yeah.
And man, what an emotional story these guys told.
100%, both in the promos and in the match itself. Until the promo after the match.
And I know that this match meant a lot to these guys because they tried to do this program in WWE and they wanted it to build to a WrestleMania match, and they pulled the curtain out of it after a less than stellar Fastlane match the month before WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like, I think they both had a chip on their shoulder coming into this, but not to mention, like, they're brothers. They love each other. This was like, a story for their father to watch and looking down at them. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
yeah, this was beautiful, and the post match was beautiful. Great stuff.
All right, man. That's my 7.
Okay, you have one that I think should be on your list that isn't.
I have a feeling I know what it is.
All right,
And
I'm sure it's yeah. What do you think it
it,
is?
it was an honorable mention for sure. It got squeaked out because of the WrestleMania. I decided the WrestleMania deserved a spot. Is it Dragon?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's actually Battleground tag match.
Against who?
The Shield with Dusty
Oh,
with Dusty in their corner.
do I have that? Is that one of the ones on my? Yeah, that's on my honorable mentions.
Like,
That when I told you earlier, it was like that match or the match with Usos or that triple threat match. The triple threat match won out.
I would have found a place for this on my list because of the
I want to
emotion behind
know.
it.
I would really like you to go watch that triple threat match and then decide if which one deserves to be on the list.
I would maybe bump, and I'd have to rewatch all these matches before I say this again, but I might think about bumping that Enforcers match for it. And I have to watch that match again. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
So good.
But I mean, just having like Dusty, Cody, and Dustin and having that moment, like it's a huge match in Dustin's career. And I think that it should be on the list. But other than that, I like your list a lot, actually.
I have a couple
I have
honorable
one.
mentions.
I have one deep cut, and that's all
Yeah,
I have.
okay.
Yeah, you go on yours. Let's see if you have mine.
That match you just mentioned was an honorable mention. I already mentioned the match with the Usos. I believe it was an Elimination Chamber. His match with Bryan Danielson at on a taping of Dynamite was in big contention. This is gonna sound weird. It didn't make the list, obviously, but his performance in the 2018 Royal Rumble,
Yeah, absolutely,
garnered an honorable mention.
I'm fair. I'm okay with that.
I thought I had more than that, but that's all I have written down.
I have one. I don't think it would have made my list.
Razor Ramon. Sorry, he had a great match with Razor.
Rumble.
Yeah.
I would think about trying to put that on two big match in his career, winning the IC title, but I wouldn't fight for it either.
If it's between him and Razor and him and Roddy,
I'm picking Roddy. I'm picking Roddy as well. My deep cut honorable mention is from SummerSlam 2002. Him and Booker T versus Christian and Lance Storm. Absolutely banger of a tag match.
Good call. Great match.
Absolutely banger of a tag match. Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to do that because I think I have a good streak going where I've never put Booker T on any of my lists, and I kind of want to keep it that way.
That's fair, sucker.
I call that the Ryback list.
The Ryback list.
Yeah, guys will never be on my list.
I gotta say, I give you 98%. I'm in agreement with your list. Maybe a couple things I would have tweaked. I probably would have tried to tweak a match or two.
Yeah,
but I have to rewatch a couple matches before I can confidently say that.
Have you watched that match with Randy in a while too?
It's been a long time since I watched that.
While you're rewatching matches, go check that out.
I would
really good.
Like if I'm looking at importance of his career, like important career moments. 96 Rumble would fight. I don't think it would make it, but it would be close.
Yeah.
But that tag match with Dusty, I think I just think
I'll have to go and rewatch that. But yeah,
I just think like even if the match isn't as good as the three-way tag match, just the moment of like the embracing after and sharing that family moment is that goes for a lot for me.
Before we take it home, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Rumor has it there's not a whole lot of time left on Dustin's contract in AEW. What's next for Dustin Rhodes?
I think an appearance, a very short run in WWE and a retirement. He said he's ready to retire.
Hall of Fame?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think he has his last match ever in the WWE.
I would hope so.
I think we see one more Goldust match.
I would love that.
Something with Cody, I think.
Something with Cody, either against him or in a tag team. I don't really care.
Yeah. Or have a heel lay out Cody, you know what I mean, or lay out Dustin and build to a Cody match, like something.
I have another weird. I don't even know if I can call it an honorable mention, but there's another match that I saw on somebody else's list that I'm like, really? I went and watched it. Honorable mention, maybe. Definitely not making my list, but I guess if you watched it. Have you seen this match with him and QT Marshall versus the Blade and the Butcher?
No, I actually saw the same list too, and I was like, I'm not watching this.
It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
QT Marshall back with AEW also.
I'm not a fan of QT Marshall.
I never was until I saw him live at AEW, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
I've always liked the Butcher and the Blade though.
He told me off though, so I got heat with him. I also in all fairness,
so did Paul Bear though. So there's fair. A list.
Well, in all fairness to QT Marshall, I asked him who won his match because I told him that I got up to take a shit instead of watching his match.
You're an idiot.
It's a great line. Got a big pop from our section. And he responded to it. Well, you're an idiot. You missed the best match of the card, buddy.
That's great.
Yeah, he was phenomenal live. What a great live performer QT Marshall is.
Well, what a career. What a performer. Do you have anything else to say before we take this home?
Big fan of Dustin Rhodes and Goldust. I really liked like the early promos he would do where he would do the movie quote and then quote the year in the movie.
Those early vignettes,
they're phenomenal.
Were so good. So good. That was like 96 is one of my favorite years for vignettes alone. The Razor vignettes, I guess the Razor vignettes were
they would have been 92. They would have been 92, man.
Well, he was doing some in 95 too, but 92 were the good.
No, 92 was when he did his debut vignettes.
Yeah, the debut vignettes, yeah.
What vignettes did he do in 95?
I remember there being some vignettes in 95.
No, you're smoking those funny cigarettes, man.
I might be, but yeah, but look, like again, Triple H might be 95 as well.
Triple H would have been 90s.
All of these are
the vignettes. I thought you meant his matches with Goldust. Yeah,
no. His debut vignettes.
Yeah, they were 95.
You know what? And Goldust would have been 95 as well. Yes. So these are all. So screw what I said about 96. 95 vignettes are where it's at. Some great vignettes, and 92. 92 vignettes are great. 92 in wrestling is great.
Are you okay over there?
I love wrestling.
Me too. Wrestling's so good right now.
1991 to 1998 just makes me so happy.
Oh my god! What was in your drink that you had tonight?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Don't worry about it. On behalf of a legendary career,
can we say?
I don't know why we're acting like he's retiring, but. What do you say?
Can we say on behalf of a list that you will never forget the name of?
Well, I will never forget because you didn't shit on it. So
yeah, it's a good one.
This is one of my favorite lists because you weren't an asshole. But a list that you'll never forget. Tyler?
You know when I do that sting thing? That happened when you did your breathing.
Where you didn't hear it at all?
Not a word, not a thing. You not just like, please, if you're listening to
so you're just seeing me do this for no reason?
If you're listening to this, just take a moment, head over to our YouTube page, hit subscribe while you're there, and just watch how stupid Mike looked there. Yeah. It was amazing. I have to clip this.
You're an asshole. Well, you will never forget the name of Counted Out because you've been counted out. You know.
Cheers.